This is the Transformational Life Consulting Podcast with Deepa Grandin, MD, where Christians like you get the practical support and tools you need to build your spiritual, mental, and physical well-being, and to guide you on your journey to health and wholeness based on evidence-based science and God's Word. I am your host, Dr. Deepa Grandin. Welcome to the Time to Transform podcast. If you're new here, we are so happy you joined us. We hope our podcast helps you on your faith and wellness journey. So a school recently asked me to help with their health and wellness program. So I started with a talk on the impact of electronics on children's mental health. Quite honestly, I was floored by the overwhelming response I got from both parents and teachers. Most expressed alarm at the significant increase in mental health problems that they were experiencing personally with their children, as well as the teachers talking about the different students that they found challenging in the classroom. So in today's Science versus Fiction podcast, we will evaluate some common beliefs surrounding children's mental health and then try to look for evidence that these beliefs are based on science or is this fiction. So let's start with some basic definition. What exactly is mental health versus mental illness? So mental health means how we feel, think, act. It's just all about handling stress, getting along with others, making good choices, and being contributing members of society, right? Mental illness, on the other hand, is when someone has these drastic changes in the way they think, feel, or act, which makes life hard for them. It's tough to go to school or work, to make friends, or just to feel okay from day to day. So let's look at some common beliefs. Children don't experience mental health problems. They are probably just going through a phase or being moody. Is this science or is this fiction? It is fiction. Children can have the exact same mental health conditions as adults, but can manifest it quite differently. And it's also one of the reasons why the signs go unnoticed by parents, and a lot of children do not get the help they need promptly. So let's discuss some common mood disorders and just let's evaluate what type of symptoms we should be looking for, okay? So depression is quite common. A child with depression can feel extremely sad or upset, not even where you can put your finger on a specific trigger or a specific circumstance. They're just sad and upset most of the time or all of the time. And they might even just stop enjoying things like they used to, like watching TV, playing with their friends, riding their bikes. And all of a sudden, they just have such a hard time making friends or getting their schoolwork done. So those are things, you need to keep in mind if you start seeing this type of behavior. Then there's bipolar disorder. Here, the child will have huge mood swings. One moment they're so sad, they're down in the dumps and nothing can cheer them up. The next minute they're so excited and happy to the point they even do risky things based on their excitement. Then that should bring to mind, okay, maybe I should have my child evaluated. Other things like anxiety, this is more than just being nervous before a test. So a child with an anxiety disorder might be so worried to the point that they refuse to go to school or this refuse to do any fun activities because they're so scared something bad's going to happen. Then there's attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. So kids with ADHD have a hard time sitting still or paying attention or just controlling their actions. Then there is autism spectrum disorder or ASD. So kids with autism may find it hard to talk with others or understand how people feel. And then you have eating disorders, which is way more common than we think. Kids get so focused on how their body looks, they start eating in an unhealthy way or trying some dangerous diets. This can make them very sick, and sometimes they can even have serious life threatening physical complications. So let's review some warning signs. When we see these signs in our child, we need to know that it's important we get them help. Okay. So, like for instance, I was talking about depression, about how sad they feel. Like it's just on and on for like several weeks, usually more than 2 weeks. Then yes, these children need to be assessed. If you find a child who doesn't want to be around other people, they're hurting themselves or they're talking about hurting themselves. They're talking about dying or saying things like, I don't want to live anymore. They're being extremely moody, just angry for no specific reason. They're acting out in ways where they're putting themselves in harm or other people in harm. Or you see these big changes in how they're acting, feeling, or thinking, or they're eating a lot more than before or a lot less than usual, if they're losing tremendous amounts of weight, if they have trouble sleeping. A lot of times, children will just complain of headache or stomach ache that just keeps coming back. You will notice they have a hard time focusing or paying attention, their grades are going down in school, or they're just point blank refusing to go to school. And I just listed some. There might be tons of other behavioral patterns, and because you're the main caregiver, don't disregard your gut feeling or intuition if there's something going on with your child. It never hurts to talk to the child's pediatrician because they're always there to help you put your mind at ease, and they have specific tools they can use to help to identify if the child is really struggling with a mood disorder. All right, let's look at a different belief. Even if my child has a mental disorder, she or he has a good chance of overcoming her or his symptoms and leading a happy, fulfilled life. Is this science or is this fiction? This is science. So, just because a child has a mental disorder does not mean they cannot find happiness and fulfillment in life. Every child is different, and the level of severity of illness and type of illness will dictate the kind of care and treatment the child will require. So, when you're able to get an early diagnosis and provide proper care, many of these children will develop strong skills and acquire the tools they need to help overcome their mental illness and function as contributing members of society. I know many families that utilize family counseling, which provides them guidance and tools so they can provide proper care for their children and also help these parents handle challenging behavior. And also, a lot of schools have support systems in place to partner with parents and to help children that need personalized support to get the support they need, and to help them on their mental wellness journey. So it is very important to help identify your children's strengths and praise them for it. A lot of these children are extremely smart and they are able to accomplish a lot. So keep reinforcing positive behavior. And when you identify good, strengths and talents, keep encouraging them to develop these, and help them to develop skills that they can utilize to succeed in life. All right, let's look at one more common belief. My child has a mental disorder because I am a bad parent. Is this science or is this fiction? Definitely fiction. I have unfortunately met too many parents who blame themselves for their child's mental health diagnosis. So, this is like saying my child has asthma or allergies because I'm a bad parent. No, I mean, most mental health disorders, just like anxiety, depression, autism, learning disorders, have a biological cause. For instance, your brain has special chemicals known as neurotransmitters that send messages back and forth to control how you feel. For instance, let's take serotonin and dopamine. These are very important neurotransmitters. However, when these neurotransmitters are disrupted, they can cause feelings of anxiety and depression. Parents are not to be blamed for this. However, parents do play a very important role in providing unconditional love, support, and care for their child. And this is so important for the recovery of the child. So do not underestimate your role as a parent or caregiver when you are dealing with a child that has a specific type of mental illness. In conclusion, if you have concerns, talk to your child's pediatrician. Ask for a referral to see a psychiatrist or a psychologist for an evaluation. No one knows your child better than you. So it's always best to trust your own instinct and observation. And if you need to get a second opinion, do it. Do whatever it takes when you feel like you have your best interest for your child at heart. Whatever steps you're taking, it's not the wrong step. So don't undermine what you feel and what your assessment is telling you.